I was just admiring how YouTube likes to suggest my videos from like sex-oriented videos. Hilarious. Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to Y'all Asked For This, where enough people in my life have been like, put your yapping somewhere that I can rewatch it and it doesn't expire in 24 hours on like Instagram. So here I am, yapping away. If you are new to me, hey, hi, hello. My name is Jessie. I'm just a person who loves people so much, and I hope that some of that love and compassion gets extended to you through these topics and just ponderings that I talk about, so you have a little more love and compassion for yourself and maybe for other people as well. Today I want to talk about intentionality. Just something came across my feed and I was like, yes, so let's talk about it. So the video that came across my feed is from Matt Kahn. I guess he's like an author and, you know, a speaker and stuff like that. I am unfamiliar, but also names and stuff like that don't really interest me, or they just like don't stick with me, I guess I should say. But in this video that I saw, he was talking about how if you aren't living intentionally, then you are subjecting yourself to the collective consciousness. And I was like, yes, just yes. On this channel, we've talked about the collective consciousness, like in little touches in a couple videos, and just how, like, yeah, we are all so deeply connected in a way, and we get to like dive in and kind of pull whatever we want to from these things. And then sometimes if we're not living intentionally or consciously, then we will unconsciously bring up, you know, something that's going on in the collective. An example is when I had talked about how starting this YouTube channel, I had journaled out like there's fear around this, and not like I'm afraid of XYZ, but like there's fear. And I was like, that's not me. It's the collective consciousness of being seen, of being judged and stuff like that. So I love this concept that he brings up because it's so true. You can see it in like comment sections and stuff a lot of the time. I'm a single Pringle, so I get like relationship content thrown at me. Sometimes I'll get in the comments and it's just people being like, are we all dating the same person? And it's like, yes, as a matter of fact, we all are, because we're not going into things intentionally. We're not putting that list together. We're not being intentional about like, this is what I want, and then sticking to it. So then we're stuck in the waves and in the ocean of collective consciousness, and collective consciousness tends to be a little bit on the lower side than what we want. But what you want also comes with doing the work, so that you're not getting stuck in the same cycle for things, whether that's like with business, whether that's like relationships, whatever, and pretty much anything. Like you can do this with anything. So I freaking love that concept. It's really just getting back into yourself and being more present. Oh my gosh, I say this every freaking episode. Being present in your moment so that you can choose the next step to actually get you to what you want. And that actually brings up something from Abraham Hicks that I saw recently too, where it's just like you can completely change your life in the course of 30 days if like in each moment or throughout each day you're like picking a quote better thought, or picking a more in alignment with what you want thought, and allowing yourself to keep kicking yourself into a higher frequency. It's easy to have something quote happen to you and let that consume you a little bit and be like, well, why me? And start focusing on, you know, the negative stuff about it, or projecting like anger or whatever to another person or to whatever the thing was. Or you can just sit there and be like, well, yeah, that happened, and okay. You can let yourself like detach from it and not take it so personally, so that you can move forward in a way that feels really good to you and is actually in alignment with you and the way that you want to feel. Everything is really like about the way that you want to feel. And I'm not saying like bypass things, because of course we can't do that, but being able to like witness a feeling that's coming up, noticing it, and then just not like attaching yourself to it, so then it gets more energy and then it continues the cycle of being there. Like if you witnessed it and are just kind of like, oh yeah, I don't like that. So good to know. I'm gonna go do this thing. It's not a distraction. Again, it sounds like it's bypassing, but it's really like not being distracted because you've witnessed it. You've noticed that this thing is coming up. You've noticed that like, yeah, I see that I don't want that. And I see that this is what that person is giving me. And like, that's okay for them if that's how they operate. But like over here, we're choosing differently. And that's getting out of the collective consciousness, because a lot of people, if somebody gives them, whatever, starts acting in whatever way that they don't actually like, there's this clinging because they're really using somebody else for filling a void, or, just filling something within themselves that they're searching for, whether it's like loneliness, like whatever it is. So they just continue to go along with it, and then they continue going on along with the pattern. And then people are, quote, dating the same freaking person. And it's because you yourself have let yourself get caught up in the waves of the collective consciousness and your own pattern, as opposed to taking that step back, being like, I see that I don't actually like this thing. So now I have the choice to take a different path. And that's really all it takes. And then what Matt Kahn mentions is then you get to be the light in the collective consciousness that other people get to tap into. It's so beautiful, and I love that so much. Like, you're no longer just mindlessly swimming within the collective. Like, you are blazing a trail that other people can tap into as well, and be like, yeah, no, this is how I want to be. That's how I want to feel. I'm going to tap into that energy and start embodying it myself. And what's interesting is, as I talk about it, like, I understand that it can kind of feel like it's coming from like this egotistical, like self-centered kind of way, but it really isn't. It's really just coming from like a heart-centered space of like, this isn't how I want to be treated. This isn't how I want my nervous system to feel. Like, I don't know what's going on, whether it's like in a relationship or in your job and stuff like that. So then you're taking that heart-centered energy and allowing you to start making changes. This is actually you stepping into your power, as opposed to using force, which is a concept by David Hawkins, psychiatrist David Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins, I'm sorry. He has this map of consciousness where there are lower emotions that 85% of the population are operating from, and this is operating from force. And then when you're operating from force, you're actually creating a counter force. But once you step into this state of like courage of doing something different, and like the concept that I'm talking about now, and taking things from a heart-centered place, then you're moving yourself into power. And power is that change. That's you becoming the light in the collective consciousness that other people can look up to and tap into as well, and be like, oh my gosh, like, I love that this is how living can be. I can strive to be there, and it's not from like an egotistical, like, I want XYZ thing, like physically or like void filled type of thing. It's just like feeling good. It feels good. It's okay to not want your nervous system all freaking hijacked all the time from somebody. Yeah, super interesting concept, and I think it's very important to get that out. So living intentionally, and again, even if it's like in your job, maybe you feel like you're absolutely stuck in your job and it just like can't get better. It's the little things, like, how can you make it more fun if you really, really, really have to keep that job? Or where can you start like looking maybe on the side for another job and see what's out there? I mean, I think in the times now, changing jobs, you actually get paid more anyway. So it might be an easy shift just to kind of like start tapping, and then the universe is going to swoop in and start giving you the options that you're looking for, because you're showing that, like, from a heart-centered space, like how you're living and what you're doing just doesn't feel good, and you're ready to make a change. So once you're ready to make a change and you show the universe that, the universe is going to start swooping in and start giving you things that you can't even dream about in the state that you're in right now. And I guess just to note, like, the scary thing that comes with this stuff, which is also a concept that Dr. David Hawkins mentions in the book that I'm reading right now, is how, like, when you step into a more loving kind of embodiment, it feels like all of the opposite is getting thrown at you, when really it's just all of the things that need that love surfacing. So it's like, oh, you want to be like this loving person? Well, here's this thing. Can you love that too? It's not even like a challenge. It's just like, this is something that so wholeheartedly like needs love, and you are embodying and in the frequency of love. So it's getting shown to you so you can show it love as well. Which is why a lot of the time too, when people are like, I just hate this thing and I want a new life and, you know, can't stand this relationship, like everything starts to crumble and everything gets hard because you have to clear things out to make space for the new stuff to come in. Or it's going to be like, do you actually want this? Again, collective consciousness, you have to be intentional with it. Like, I can sit here and say I'm in this loving frequency, but like, if you're not actually embodying it, then it's not grounded, and then it can disappear in a second. So you really have to just know and trust and continue to be intentional with how you're living and how you're moving. And obviously it's not all day, every day, because we gotta live some life too, man. Like, this is supposed to be fun and we're experiencing things, of course, but just allowing yourself to, you know, in your daily routine, be like, I want to have a joyous day. And if you catch yourself sitting and scrolling like you do every day, which doesn't actually make you feel like you're in a joyous day, then it's time to choose something different. Try something else, and it takes you out of that collective consciousness. Just, oh, it's so good. And then you get to be potentially one of the people who is out of that 85% force and in your true power. And honestly, we fluctuate between all of the emotions, whether you're in your power or in force. I can say that like wholeheartedly, because I can like witness myself dropping back down sometimes, and then again catching myself and just being like, that's an interesting awareness. We're gonna choose different now. So yeah, what do you think of this concept of just being in the collective consciousness? Are you somebody who has noted like, damn, I'm really living like the same life as this person? And then where can you make those slight changes in your day as well? Let me know what you think, and as always, please take what resonates and leave the freaking rest. Let me know if this was just as like mind expanding for you as it was for me when it came up. Because I really was. I was just like, bitch, what? But thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Please consider liking and subscribing. I do love the comments and everything like that. Just kind of knowing if this is helpful, even in the slightest. I love to hear it. And I hope you have a absolutely lovely day, weekend, whatever time it is. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.